Thank you. All right. So those who know me know I am not like super technologically situationed. So there's a whole clicker thing. We're gonna all get through it together. But I came old school with the thing. Before I start, and not to like bring it down, I'm gonna bring it up, I promise. But I want to dedicate this to my aunt Dorothy Ann Phillips, who is being buried right now in Maryland, and the minute this is over, I'm on a plane to go. So I'm here because she was about business, and she was about keeping her commitments, and she would have been so pissed at me if I had canceled. So thank you. So if I like spirit away like the wind, like Kaiser Soze, after this, it's not because I'm avoiding you. It's because I got to get my kid and get on a plane. So, but y'all have, my email is lstreeter@pbpost.com. If I can't talk to everybody or whatever, and you, assuming you want to say something to me, that's nice, only that's nice. Okay, so, those who also know me know that I like a challenge. You know, I was one of those do we have any journalists, reporters in the house? No? Okay, well, me. Okay, great, yes. So you know how like when you start your career, you're like, I'm gonna ask the one question that no one else has ever asked because I'm that cool. And usually that's the question that screws up the whole interview because you spent so much time trying to be cool that the person goes yes or no, or that's a stupid question, and then it's done. But so I've stopped doing that, but I do think things as a challenge. So when I heard that there was a theme, I'm like, justice. How am I gonna do that? And at first I was like, I'm gonna find the coolest thing ever about justice. And then I thought, just shut up and figure out what that means to you. So I'm gonna start with a chant, and I would like us all to get on the same beat. We can try. Okay, no justice. Thank you, no justice. One more time. No justice, no peace. Thank you. That was very good, thank you. Can have some protesters in here, that's awesome. And I know a couple of you are. So what that means on the surface is that where there is no justice to, say, when I was in college, we chanted that about apartheid. I'm old. Or about the Cold War. And it came to be anything where there were disadvantaged people. And there would be no peace for the oppressors until there was justice. Martin Luther King, who knew a lot about oppressed people and how to bring them out of it, said it from a different perspective. He said, there can be no justice without peace, and there can be no peace without justice. Which brings me, as many things do, to Dateline. And my friends here know that comes, Keith Morrison is so hot. When he thinks you're guilty, and he's interviewing you in jail, and he's like, but did you kill him? And we're like, yes, Keith, he did it. Anyway, I love Dateline and 2020 and American Greed, where like Stacey Keach is narrating, and he's really angry because there's a Ponzi scheme, and he wants to punch you in the throat. He's so angry. I love that. But and the wife did it, by the way. The wife did it. I really only like the ones where they find out who did it. It goes back probably to when I was young, and your mother would read you stories about that ended with, and then the witch left and ran away, or the troll, and they were never heard from again. And that was not good enough for me. I wanted the witch drawn and quartered in front of me. I wanted to know that this was over. I didn't have to look over my shoulder for the witch. Screw that witch, I'm out. So, because there's no justice in that, to me, to have peace about a situation, even if I have to manufacture justice, even I have to make myself believe that something is justice, because what is justice really? What does it mean? It can mean different things. In Dateline situation, the person who died is gone. They're not coming back. The money that was stolen in the Ponzi scheme is usually gone. There's at least one thing where they had this cool horse auction. Do you ever watch American Greed? There's an amazing one where this woman who was the treasurer of this town in the Midwest was stealing all the money so she could go to horse shows. And every year she would come with like the budget, but had little, literally sad faces. And I'm like, oh, there's no money. I'm so sorry. And it's because she was stealing all the money. So the government had the auction of all the horses and stuff in the town so the town could make some money back. There was justice for that. There was not just justice, a sense of feeling that someone had paid and she went to jail, but there was actually, you get something back. But that does not usually happen. Let me show you. Does this work? Yes, how to make sense of crappy things. Okay, this is Brooks. Brooks is my life. He is my child. This is about 2016. And a crime had been committed, and it was by me. Because I had taken him to Animal Kingdom and taken him among like the sugar and the animals to two really, can I say ass? Can I say scary ass? Okay, I just did. Scary ass performances. One was A Bug's Life, where like that big bug comes behind you, and I felt these little like fingers in my shoulder, and he's like, no! And we get outside and he goes, Mommy, no, do that again. And so I was like, yeah. And then this was The Lion King, where he was enjoying it, and it's like da 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 da, and then like it's very loud and big, and they look like they're coming down the aisle for you. And he was like, I just told you not to do that. So there was a crime, and someone had to pay, and it was me. Which is, if you're a parent, you know, sometimes you just go, yeah, I did it. I didn't really, but if that's going to get us off of this, because here's the thing, we always want to believe that it's someone's fault, so someone can pay. It's like if you are home ever when Jerry Springer is on. Yes, there are always those commercials, the lawyer commercials, that basically say if something bad happened to you, it's someone else's fault, and you can sue. And you can pay us to help you sue. We're not going to talk about that right now, but you can sue someone else. But sometimes life is like a Howard Jones song. And those over 40 know that I'm saying that no one is to blame sometimes. No one ever is to blame. Boo, boo, boo. Okay. I feel like we should be skating. Anyway, all right. So, you can't sue your way into justice because sometimes you can't sue a hurricane. You can't sue cancer, and you can't sue a heart attack. Yeah, here's the sad part. Okay, so, wait a minute. Okay, yes, that's Bryan Adams. But this is not about, I just like this picture, and that's Scott. I used to think I wanted to marry Bryan Adams when I was 13, and then I married this guy. And then I remember looking at this photo and going, I keep looking back at that dude in the big, like, loud shirt, and I was like, that's why I know I'm in love. When someone pulled focus away from Bryan Adams. Anyway, yeah, that is Scott Zervitz. And when he died of a heart attack in 2015, early in the morning, in front of me as we were making out, it's true. Yeah, so, yes, Nancy's like, what? It's true. So at least he was happy. You can laugh, it's okay, it's okay. It's fine. There was no one to blame. I mean, you can't sue his heredity. You can't sue the cheesesteaks that he ate even though he wasn't supposed to. You can't. I was mad at him for a long time, but if you've ever tried to argue with a dead person, it is pointless. It's fruitless. It's so fruitless. It's like Fruit Loops, RFOROOT. There was no fruit at all involved. And you can spend all your time looking for someone to blame, and you want to be mad at anyone who was ever mad at them, and you want to be mad at like the family members who didn't get you, and you want to be mad at like the shoes you can't find and the stuff you keep tripping over, because nothing's going to bring that person back. Where is the justice in that? And it screws with your head. Wanda Sykes, and I'm a pop culture reporter for those who don't know, so every 5 seconds will be a pop cultural reference. So I'm just preparing you for that. So Wanda Sykes had this thing where she talked about how women keep themselves up with their thoughts. And they're like, I didn't like how she spoke to me today. I'm going to say something to her tomorrow. You know, and it's like, because you got this thing in your head because you want justice. You want something to make sense. You want there to be, even if the person that you're going to talk to tomorrow does not remember a thing, she probably wasn't even looking at you. But to you, it's a thing that's stopping you from moving forward. And maybe when we keep talking about this, maybe there's ways to find justice just in letting yourself off the hook or letting the person that you're mad at. Oprah, here's another reference. Oprah had this story about how she was mad at this woman, friend of hers. And she just was consumed her day and night. I'm mad at her, and I'm going to see her. I'm going to say something to her. And so she looks across Michigan Avenue in Chicago, and she sees the woman. And she's come out of a store or a restaurant with other friends, and they're laughing. And and this is Oprah, who has more money than anyone. And her first reaction was, how dare she be laughing and happy at this moment when we're embroiled in this thing? And then she goes, oh, wait, maybe that's just me. Because maybe she's not thinking about me. Maybe it's in my head, and the only way that I'm going to find justice in this relationship, which seems to be over, is to let go of it, because the only person that's hurting is me. The only person who's occupied is me, because she's over there with other people. She moved on. Or maybe she didn't, and she's just pretending that she is. But she's probably over it. Sometimes when we try to find justice, we blame the victim. Why was she wearing that? Why were you there in that neighborhood after dark? Well, why did you say that to them? You knew that was going to make them angry. And we do that because we try to justify that because we think, okay, if they did something stupid that I would never do, that would never happen to me. If they dressed in a way or said something in a way, well, I can just sit back with my popcorn and go, well, you know, it's not like that would happen to me. And I was writing this out, and I wrote, justify. It's like justice. It's like Latin. You know, it's like school. That we use justification to find some justice, even if it's like victim blaming and dumb. So if you can say that it's not you, then it's okay. I always thought with my husband that he would, like, this is so horrible to say, but that he might have a scare, you know, that something would happen, he might have a little tiny bit of a health scare, and that would be the thing that would make him be a vegan yogi. And those of you who knew my husband know that was never going to happen. Neither of those things, vegan or yogi. I tried to make him do yoga once, and I had a video on, and he kind of came out in his Ravens jersey and his shorts. And he's like, all right. And he'd bend over, he go, I don't want to do this. And he went back and sat down. It's like, gave it a shot. I showed up. I had a little extra yoga mat for him. He looked cute in the clothes. That's as far as it got. But there's no second chances in these things. And when there was no warning, when the first one killed him, how do you find justice in that? How do you find peace in that? I think for me is the first thing was once I, got out of what I admit was about a week-long buzz, I was like, just keep giving me wine. Keep giving me wine. Let me go watch Law & Order reruns down the hall. I was talking to someone today about how when you're in conversations with people and you just want to leave and you have to find reasons to like, oh, I know, it's so nice to see you. Like when you're widowed, here's a widow tip. You can just leave. You don't have to justify nothing to nobody. You can go, okay, I have to go now. And I would just walk down the hall and people would be like, what happened? Where'd she go? It's like, she had to leave now. Because I think most people should be like that. Right. I mean, not like just walk, but to be able to say, listen, it's cool, it's good, it's so nice, and that it was so nice to meet you as you moonwalk down. So the first thing that I had to realize is that justice is not symmetrical. There is no scale. Like me and the Dateline people found, okay, if this is the sucky crap, it's up here and you're way down here. No, this is the sucky crap is weighing you, you're up here like way in the air flailing on just happened to me. You might get some justice in terms of maybe someone went to jail or something. For me, that was nothing like that. So I might get some peace as time goes by. but I might get some wisdom. I might reconcile with people, you know, but it's never going to completely be, because I can't have them back. That's where that would be, and I can't. So you have to figure out what that means. There's no magic wand to reconcile, like I said, unless it's the horse situation on American Greed, you're not going to get it back. And I don't even think they got everything back. Like I said, once again, on American Greed, it's always amazing to me when they'll say, and this person stole like $15 million in a Ponzi scheme and like 2,000 people, and they spent it on like bull, you know, they spent it on like bowling alleys with gold crap in it, and like, you know, they took everybody on their dorm to like Spain, and they like didn't even want to go to Spain. They just went to Spain because it was there, and it's just stupid crap. And you go, even if I got my money back, I'm still pissed because somebody went to Spain on my dime. Somebody has like gold rims. It's like if you said, okay, I sent my kids to school on your dime. You'd still be mad, but you go, okay, I get it. But like hookers and blow and stuff, don't do that. Pay for your own hookers. Buy your own hookers. Yes. Please don't. This is being recorded, right? Okay. So if there's no symmetry in justice, what do you get? What do you have? I find that sometimes you can pay it forward. When Scott first passed away, I spent a lot of time locating everybody who's his age, every man, and saying, when's the last time you went to the doctor? When was your last? I knew so much about relative strangers' colonoscopies and whatever, and they would tell you. I mean, I was like the confessor. People go, I had a stress test, I skipped it. Like, no! Because I cared about them, and because I didn't want anybody's wife or partner to feel like I felt. I wanted someone, I'm not blaming my husband, it was a confluence of things. But, you know, there's always stuff you can do. If someone says, take this thing or take care of this thing, do it. So that's my pay it forward. Nancy Brinker lost her sister, Susan Komen, and thought, what can I do to make sure that no other families have to go through this? Thus, in October, well, here in January, we wear pink and we walk a lot, because she decided that the only justice in the loss of her sister was to prevent this happening for other people. John Walsh, who is a badass, who I've met, and he still maintains a little tiny bit of that righteous anger after his son Adam died about 38 years ago, 37 years ago. He thought, what do I do with this rage? What do I do with it? And he founded America's Most Wanted, which brought thousands of people to justice, because he said the only thing we can do moving forward is getting the people, and there's no, it's period. There is no ... It's like, you're guilty, we're going to find you. And that's amazing. And he's doing that in memory of his son, because there literally is justice in that, and it's pretty cool. I will caution that when you're trying to find the reason and the thing, don't find it too soon, or don't try to like wrap it up in pithy platitudes particularly when it's not your thing. About a day after my husband died, I was looking at Facebook, which was inadvisable, but I was like, oh, I wonder what people are saying about Scott. And someone had posted, someone I used to hang out with but hadn't seen in ages, something like, Scott has completed his cycle around the sun. Bullshit. Because it's like, the purpose of that was to say there is an order and there is a thing, but he was literally here 48 hours ago. And now he's not, oh, but you're telling me it's a cycle around the sun. Okay, that makes perfect sense. I'm good now. We can stop mourning and just put off the piñatas now because everything's good. It is not. And I know that people say things like that because they want to make you feel better. But that doesn't. Because imagine how that would feel to you if someone said, no, I've solved it. Literally, their washcloth is still in the bathroom. And their shoes are still under the bed. But no, I've made a sense of this to you. Screw you. Go order somebody else's life. I speak, as they mentioned, at something called Camp Widow. And I'm happy to say it's for widowed people that's around the world. And I'm going to be the keynote speaker at the one in Toronto. So I'm literally going to be an international speaker, which is exciting. But the first one, I went to a woman who was a widow, who was in her 60s, brought her daughter, who was widowed through the military. And she talked about how her daughter had gone to the funeral. And military people are awesome, so she didn't even know most of the people that were there. Just they heard there was a military funeral and they came out. So this woman they don't know comes up to the daughter, who's the widow, and she's like 23, the widow. And she squeezes her hand. She goes, no, it's going to be fine. Because now you can find your true love. The fact that cops were not called at that moment. And her mother said they were like, and her mother just like ushered her out. Because in my family, the cops would have been called. The swinging would have, once again, I understand that it came out of a sense of, no, it's going to be okay. And one day you're going to, it's like that movie, Practical Magic. Yes. Where Sandra Bullock marries the dude who was later on Royal Pains, Dr. Hank. It's a whole thing. Anyway, so her whole thing, there was a curse in her family. They were a family of awesome witches, and they were told they could never find love. So she manufactured this spell so she could find love, and he dies. And then she feels really bad about it, and because she's really sad, and then she finds Aidan Quinn, who's super hot, and she feels like she never stopped mourning her husband. Just because she found justice, she found another happiness after a whole lot of craziness. The original thing never went away. The original pain, her daughter's father didn't come back. This person that she loved was not erased, and it was all awesome. It's not like Job, in the Bible when Job loses all his kids and his house and everything, and he's like, he refuses to curse God, and then God gives him back everything else. Those other people are still dead. There's still a loss. There is still pain in the rebuilding because you had the ashes, right? There's no rebuilding without the ashes because you're rebuilding from pain. Stephen Curtis Chapman, who is a contemporary Christian artist, lost his daughter about 10 years ago in a very sad accident where his older son backed the car into the daughter. And I remember his wife being on Larry King and some things afterwards, and people said, well, it's good that you're paying it forward. You are telling your story so other people can heal. And she said, honestly, if I could get my daughter back, I wouldn't care if I helped one person. And everyone, and I went, no, I got it. Because if I could have my husband back, someone else can give the widow talk. Do you know what I'm saying? I would be like, y'all heal on your own. It was nice to see you, whatever. But I still am. She had a quote, his wife, Mary Beth, who said that she said, people will say, one day you get to see her again. And I say, great, but she's not here now. So what do we do with that? I refuse to get into pain Olympics with people. That's another thing that people do when they go, but, I'm resolute in the fact that my pain's worse than yours. Like a woman wrote me and said her divorce was worse than my widowhood because I had friends and she didn't. There's some here. And she didn't, and I had a village, so everyone abandoned her. Like, I knew her, and I don't. And I felt like she got some peace, some justice, something out of saying this, out of claiming this thing, and she's yelling at a stranger about her pain isn't as good enough as hers. And I guess maybe that made her feel better, but that's stupid. Don't claim your peace over other people's pain. I want to tell you that I'm not going to have you raise your hand. Who has grief? Because nobody wants to be in that. Grief is normal. Your pain, your loss is normal. It is not something that you need to be, at least initially, talked out of. It is not something that you need to be, parading puppies and clowned out of. It's no one else's right to tell you how much to grieve, how long to grieve, how to grieve. Now, if you're doing something that's unhealthy for a long time, the people that will be around you, but they know you. Most people aren't going to let you, like, be drunk too long. I was drunk just enough. Because your pain is yours, and the way to get out of, you will figure out the way to get out of it, even if you don't want to. The idea of closure goes back to, like, what does that mean? It means different things to different people. To me, it means moving forward. I'm going to tell the story and go, oh my God, everyone dies that she knows. But when my grandfather passed, my Uncle Lester, who I'm named after, Leslie Lester, said, when my dad died, his dad had just died, and he said, listen, you will get through this, but you will not get over it. Which, of course, means that I had no choice but to move forward. We can't stay, we can't go bad, but you're never going to get past the loss like Sandra Bullock. You're never going to pass that. I'm sorry, I said it was Nicole Kidman. It wasn't. It was Sandra Bullock. Sorry. So how do you do that? Sometimes it's forgiveness. On those Dateline shows, you will often talk to people who said, like, they'll stand in court and say, I forgive you for killing my brother. Or they say, I forgive him for stealing all my money. That usually never happens. Usually it seems to be easier to forgive the killer you're never going to see again than this person who, like, took your shit. I'd be more pissed, honestly, about that. But forgiving people, I had to forgive Scott for the cheesesteaks. Once again, you can't, like, yell at a dead person. It's stupid. We can assume he won that argument. You have to forgive other people. Like I said, there were family members I hadn't spoken to in years and didn't speak to for another year because I was even more mad. And I forgave them for myself and for my son because it was more effort than I was the one making the effort to be pissed. And it wasn't for them. I mean, I have new relationships with some of them I will see tomorrow, actually, in Maryland. But that's great. But it was hurting me. It was hurting my kid, who didn't even know these people existed, because I had to forgive them for that. I forgave God. God and I had a situation. You know, there's a gospel play called Your Arms Too Short to Box with God. It's true. So if you believe in God or the universe or a higher power, you're not going to win that one. So you can either leave or you can kind of figure out how to deal with it. I say in my book that my questions about the universe and things are a little more questiony than they used to be, but I had to find peace in that being to kind of go on. The other thing you have to do is give yourself a break. You got to forgive yourself. When we went on our honeymoon, it was a cruise we took on a celebrity cruise line out of Miami, and Scott had given me this purse. When we first started dating, he won this purse for me at an auction at like a Dancing with the Stars thing that I did at the Kravis Center. I came in third. It was really good. And I had literally my prize was a disco ball that was glued to a trophy. It was awesome. It was so awesome. I did that twice. And so he won me this really cool purse, and I left it on the bus on the way where we parked our car on the way back to our car from the cruise. And I beat myself up for that for years. And when he died, I was like, and then I lost his purse. I lost the purse. And I was like, that was 5 years ago, and now it'll be almost 10 years. The purse is gone. The purse was gone the minute I left it, you know? So what can you do very quickly? Self-care. Therapy, as you're forgiving yourself, therapy is amazing. You should do it. Talking to other people, sex works. No judgment. Food is awesome. I love food. Food is, and do what you do. I don't believe in the word guilt. I don't believe in guilty pleasure, because pleasure you shouldn't be guilty about pleasure. Pleasure is good. And if cheesesteaks or cheesecake makes you that, also run a little bit. I do that too, but whatever it is, you'll feel better. And hope. To me, there is nothing sounds more like justice than hope, than feeling that it's going to get better and feeling that there are new possibilities. Very quick. So I told you I wasn't super technologically Okay, so this is the hope. There's me and my dude. There's me and Burt Reynolds. I just like that photo. No reason it's there otherwise. He was my friend. And me and my boy in my Black Panther shirt that I wore when I picked him up from school yesterday, like, yeah. Because I want you to know that that's what you're going for. That's justice. Living is justice. Moving on is justice. Happiness is justice. And it's not going to be the way it was, and maybe it won't be better because that other person isn't there, but it's going to be the best that you can do. And I think that's pretty much all you can do. Thank you.